Hey, how's it going? And today I am going to be sharing with you this it's based in the environment light, although there's probably other ways to do this. But essentially, what we're doing is we're using images instead of procedurals to create some pretty far out stuff. And this is what I call the world of a thousand things, or you could also call it fly vision or something like that. Or it could be in a movie where somebody's going on an LSD trip or something. So just show you how I got into this, started this, and the first thing was with this environment light. And I was confused in the beginning about the environment light, but if we come into, let's see, geometry, go to cube and go okay, we have this cube here, right? And then let's go ahead and match our camera perspective, and let's go into the camera view, and let's go into VPR. So we can see there's this cube, and it's in this quote unquote environment, this backdrop, and it is illuminating this light. There's two lights in the scene. Of course, there's a distant light and there's an environment light. If we kill the backdrop, we can still see the cube because we've got the distant light still available, and if we rotate it, we can see how the distant light is changing everything. So the environment light was confusing to me for the longest time. I'm going to turn the backdrop back on, but let's go into the environment light, going through lights up here, and here it is. And so basically, if you want to read more about it, of course, what's great about Lightwave is the manual is online. It's pretty technical, but one of the key lines here is that there are now two locations for environment plugins in Lightwave. Those contained in the backdrops tab to the effects window are called global backdrops, whereas the same plugins in the environment light window are local to that specific environment light. To make use of the environment system, these things must be true. An environment needs to be present, and if you want to use an environment in the backdrop, you have to have the use global on. If you want to use the environment light, then it has to be unchecked. So I mentioned that in another tutorial. So basically, if I want to use an environment light on this, I have to turn the backdrop off, and basically use global means using the backdrop. So if I click that off, then all I have is a distant light lighting the scene. Now if I want to light this cube with an environment, I have to add an environment, and this is where the rabbit hole started. So I come into texture and environment, and I go to texture, and then I can just load an image. So I have a bunch of images here already. Let's see, I don't know which one to use. I don't even want any of those. Let's see, hold on, I want this one. So let's say this is something that I did already, and now you can see that this environment, quote unquote environment, which is really an image, is now lighting the cube. So that's kind of the environment light in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it than that, but it's basically image or alternative backdrop that lights your object and makes it look more natural, I think. So but now we got this world of the textured light, and I mentioned this before in another video that we can see some interesting stuff going on down here. So what I want to do now is I just want to get rid of this box. So I'll come to items. I was just showing you that real quick, and make sure I'm on the box, and I can just delete the box from the scene that way. So now I've just got this image loaded in. So here's where it gets interesting now, and this is today's quick tutorial. So, or trick, we go to textured environment, we go to texture, and now we've got this image. One thing that is interesting is that in this view point, the camera controls do not work. So like if you were to click on the camera and try to change your position, nothing's going to happen for you there. So those controls are all essentially disabled. However, all the controls as you come through I don't want to be right there. Well, I do want this box here. In the textured environment, which we get through the environment light, you click here, and that leads you, go there, and then it leads you to this box. We do have access to all these controls. Now we're looking at this on the correct orientation, the z-axis, which means that we have access to the x and y axes, but not, things start getting weird if I go on other coordinates here. But let's say I have the x and the y, I can use these and start doing some crazy stuff. So let's leave it on the z, and let's start with scaling this on the x and y and see what happens. So let's just start scaling this down, and you start seeing how I'm getting multiples of this, right? And now on the y, let's scale it. Look at this. Now I think, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's yeah. So look at what we've got here now. We've got literally hundreds of these frames. I haven't counted them, but they're scalable. And then what's cool is you can do all, you have access to the scale, position, and rotation, and even fall off these to manipulate this image, what was your image, as the backdrop in any number of ways. So like if I go to rotation, I can turn this and start making it look all different kinds of ways. And if I go back to scale, I'm in the negative right there, which is interesting. I don't know how far down I could take this, but you can just look at this and start getting a general idea. So to me, this is almost like a solution in search of a problem, because it's one way to recreate the same scene in this kind of surreal landscape that almost could be like a wallpaper or something. And so I realized as I was doing this is that you could go in and get another image, a specifically created image, and bring it in, and then start really creating some really out of this world stuff. So let me show you what I mean by that real fast. So we get to this through the environment, light, textured environment, texture, and then if I go into here, I can load another image. I haven't even loaded all these, but just for kicks, let's just do this one. Look at this. Look at the insane intricacy of this. It's mind-boggling to me. And so this is all happening basically through an image as opposed to a procedural. So anyway, that's all I had for today. I hope you found this helpful. Take care, and if you come up with some cool stuff, please feel free to share.